Okay, please find a comfortable and relaxed posture. Keep your back straight as much as you can and gently close your eyes. Take a few deep, long breaths. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in peacefully and breathe out peacefully. And slowly observe your body and your posture. Find your peaceful and comfortable posture. It is very important. And same time relax your body. Mindfully bring your attention to the moment. Slowly experience the stillness, peacefulness in this room around you. With having peaceful mind and body, let's start our practice. Let's develop loving friendliness thoughts towards yourself. Be a loving and kind person to yourself. Repeat these words to yourself lovingly and kindly, and same time find the meaning of each verse, the deeper meaning, and make sure to apply the meanings to your day-to-day life. May I learn to forgive and accept myself. May I be well in mind and body. May I be patient. May I learn to care for myself with joy and ease. If you find one interesting word that you really like, you can keep repeating it to yourself over and over with love and compassion towards yourself. Self-love is very important. It is not selfishness. You are learning to accept yourself, who you are. You are not going to compare yourself with others. You are always learning to practice acceptance. Also, whenever you see your mistakes, you are patient and diligent with yourself. And you are learning to fix those mistakes with kind and compassion. Also, you can use your own words to practice self-love. Now we can extend our loving thoughts towards your loved ones. Imagine your friends, family members, your loved ones. And also there is someone in your family or one of your friends who needs your thoughts, blessings, wishes. You can think of them. You can think of anyone who is very special to you. May my loved ones be filled with loving kindness. May they be free from inner and outer dangers. May they be able to take care of themselves happily. May my loved ones be well. May they be happy. May they be peaceful. Now we can expand our loving thoughts beyond this room, all over the world. You are a perfect person to send loving kindness towards everyone because you are practicing loving kindness in this moment. You are the one of the loveliest person right now in this world. There are many things happening right now. Natural disasters, wars, difficult times, illness. People are having a hard time. May all the living beings be filled with loving kindness. May they be able to find peaceful and healthy environments. May all the living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. As a loving kindness practitioner, you can skip difficult ones and knowing people if you have. If you have anyone, any difficult people in your life, it is time to practice your loving kindness towards them. It might be hard, it might be difficult. You may not like how they talk, how they behave. It is not easy to change them. But you have tools. You can change how you think. You can change yourself. With having that advice, please practice. May my difficult people be filled with loving kindness. May they be well in mind and body. May they be able to find noble friends, noble guidance. Now please take few peaceful long breaths. And also it is perfect time to change your posture, move your body around if you want. Find a comfortable posture. We can have silent breathing practice. I'm not gonna use much words. You can mindfully pay attention to your breath, your inner breath. I would like to mention one thing. Whenever you are having any distractions, take a few deep long breaths and come back to your breathing practice. And let's start our practice. Breathe in mindfully, breathe out mindfully. Breathe in mindfully. Breathe out mindfully. Now mindfully and gently take a few deep long breaths. Today, this beautiful morning, you all are here to practice. You are spending productive time. You are here to learn something. You are here to practice with us, which is beautiful. Therefore, in this moment, appreciate your time, your commitment, your dedication. You could do something instead of coming to the temple, but you decided to come and practice. I'm always mentioning people, this is your practice time. You come, you sit and you practice. But whenever we go outside, maybe right after the meditation, maybe in the parking lot, maybe in your business place or your workplace, maybe at your home, wherever you go, many moments will come to you to apply your practice. Those each moments, be mindful. Try to use your tools, which is your practice. With having that intention, please bring your hands together in front of your heart. Make a commitment to yourself to apply this practice every day, at least 2-3 minutes. May peace be with you, may all the living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Thank you so much. Please open your eyes. Okay, let's start our chanting practice. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa Samma sambuddhassa buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Saṅgham saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi saṅgham saraṇaṃ Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Tatiyampi saṅgham saraṇaṃ Anicca vata saṅkhāra Uppada vaya dhammino Uppajjita nirujjanti Te saṅvupa samosukho Sabbe satta avera hontu Sabbe satta abhyapajja hontu Sabbe satta anigha hontu Sabbe satta sukhi attanaṃ pariharantu Mano pubbangama dhamma Mano setta mano Bhasati va karoti va tato nan dukkha manveti Chakkaṃ vavahato padam Mano pubbangama dhamma Mano setta mano maya Manasace pasannena Bhasati va karoti va Tato nan sukha man Mind is the foreign of states. Mind is chief. Mind medade. If with a corrupted mind, one should either speak or acts, suffering follows caused by that, as does the wheel follow the ox's hoof. Mind is the foreign of states. Mind is chief. Mind medade. If with a clear and confident mind, one should either speak or act. Happiness follows caused by that, as the shadow of we believe in generosity towards others. We believe the skillful noble path is marked by generosity. Think generously, speak generously, act generously. And these practices allow us to become open, accepting, and forgiving. We believe extending generosity towards others. my wish. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection. And a servant to all in needs. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the unwise, only the wise, until the time I attain nirvana. Okay, good morning everyone. How are you today? So thanks so much for being here. And today we have a special Dhamma talk by our noble friend Bill Reddy. So maybe you have seen him here many times, but I can tell a lot about him. So if you do not know about that, Bhante Sujata started meditation 2002, and Bill was one of the first member of first group and first day with Bhante Sujata. So almost 20 years ago, still he's coming. So he have seen the temples growing, the congregation is growing, and he has a lot of experience. And so there's another thing also I would like to say about Bill. Whenever we are having something like maintenance, the bathroom breakdown, the lights, so we always call Bill, please come and we need your help. He's always come and help. He support a lot to the temple, and also a few other people. We have a once in a while we go for a bike rides. So I tell Bill, he's our Blue Lotus Bicycle Club president, I call him. Because he's the one always, Bhante, can we go for a bike ride? So then he come and pick up all the bikes and go, and we are having a really good time with Bill. And so I asked him to do a talk today, and he has many experience about temple and about his practice. So now it is your time. Yeah, you can go there. And also, he's the artist. He did the painting, the cloud. He's a good painting and a good artist. Now you're in trouble, huh?
Morning, everyone. I haven't done one of these for a little while, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I've done a few of these. Never easy. I mean, always so happy that Bhante asked me to a point, but then I have to come and do it. I thought I was gonna say something funny, but before this, but I kind of to break the tension for myself, but I couldn't come up with anything funny, so I'll just go right to it. So, probably a long time ago, not a long time ago, maybe about a year ago or so, I don't know how many of you read the Morning Coffee Wisdoms with Bhante Sujata. You get it in your emails, and they come in every morning. And it's kind of like little sayings or little teachings, kind of almost like the Dhammapada, little short little blurbs. And some of them are so good, and I see some of them, they're just so speak to me at the time, I guess, if you want to say. So when Bhante asked me to give the talk, I went back to these two that I had read within a couple of days of each other, and for some reason they just struck a real chord, and I thought I would just pass them on and maybe base my talk loosely on these. So the first was Satipatthana is becoming conscious of our unconscious emotional reactions. So that was the first one. And the second one was look to others with awe and respect, even in their failings. Mindfulness is required of each person on the path. Without judging the journey of another, be aware of your own steps. So the reason I think they work so well together is first, is the Satipatthana is that seems to be like the real core of our practice. Really it's, of all the things we do and, everything we read and all the teachings, if this is truly our practice, this is really, I think if there's anything, it's probably the most important thing, because it really encompasses all like how we deal with our emotions and our mental states and all of that. And so that's why that struck such a strong chord with me. And the second one, I thought, both of these I consider very difficult to do for me. And, especially in certain parts of my practice or my life, maybe especially when I was younger. But to do the second, to look with others, I think, with awe and respect, you really have to kind of master that first one. And I don't know if master is the right word I want to use, because it's just a word, but it's truly, I think you have to get to that point where you can sit with things that are very uncomfortable and very, things that just bring up fear in your body. And I think that that is something that is only going to help us get further. And that's the only thing that's going to, if we don't get past this point, I shouldn't say past it, because this seems to be a constant in our life. This is something that we're always going to have to be working with, is our emotions and our especially ones that we find when they say hidden unconscious emotional reactions. And there's a reason they're hidden, obviously, because they're not comfortable and there's nothing we like about them and we don't want them to be there. And so I think dealing with our unconsciousness, we have to do this constantly. I mean, from the beginning of our practice, probably early on in our life, till the end of our life. I mean, this is going to be something I think that's going to stick with me forever. I think it's a constant working with my feelings. It's a constant uncovering things in me maybe that I'm not so happy about or not so familiar. Not familiar, but not so comfortable with. So I think there's a transformation that happens, I think, in each of us. I can see it in myself, and I think there's like mini transformations in me. And a way of where I can approach these things that really scare me and everything, but maybe with not so much of a reaction to the reaction, unconscious reaction, a reaction to the unconscious reaction. So I wanted to bring up just something in my life. This is kind of a funny analogy to me that I think of. And that is that I really love roller coasters. But I would only say in the last 10 years would I say I really loved them. And I think earlier in my life I would go on roller coasters, but I never really would say I enjoyed them. I would do it and I would kind of tough them out and stuff, because people would want to go and I'd say, okay, I can handle that, I can do that. But the reason I consider it kind of what it means so much to me with this is because it's not being on the roller coaster. It's not the fear of what could happen to me, but it's almost the fear of what it brings up in me. It's that, when you're on that roller coaster and you're getting up to that top hill at it's right there. There's really absolutely no control. There's nothing you can do about anything that comes up in your body or whatever. There's really nothing you can do about it. You're going to do that drop and you're going to either, tough it out, or you're going to just be able to sit with it. And so I think earlier in my life, I fought this stuff. I resisted it so much. I would just tough it out and I would say, okay, I can do this. But there's something I think that happens in us as we go in our practice that allows us to maybe soften that a little bit. And it's not so, those fears aren't so uncomfortable in us. It's just like a natural sensation. And I think that it's such a hard thing approaching our emotions and our, especially things that are hidden, because for years, we've been brought up to not do this. I think, sensations, I think we have an aversion to sensations, especially maybe it's somewhat cultural, but, I think it just as human beings, we're averse to Jesus, I don't want to feel that. I'd rather, do whatever not to have to feel that. And so I think that that's why, to me, I thought this was such an important topic. And there's a way, I think, of getting to the point where maybe we don't have such a resistance to what things that come up in us. And I think it takes a lot of work. And I was thinking back a couple of weeks ago where we had a Dharma talk, Bhante Sankey talk, and we talked about the brain. It was a short talk about, he talked about how our brain processes things that come in. And he was saying that, of course, there's been a lot of studies on meditation practice and everything, but he was talking about how we can actually rewire the brain. We can rewire the neural pathways in the brain. And so when something comes into our brain, it actually comes through a different pathway. So it doesn't go through the more reactive part of our brain. It comes through more of a rational part of our brain. So it shows that, like, maybe with our practice, that there's a practical reason for our practice, what we do. It actually physically changes us. It maybe can physically rewire the brain. I mean, what a cool idea. What a cool thought. But, I was thinking of that, like, all this stuff when I read this, I think it's so fascinating. But the problem is, I think, with it, you still have to do all the work. It's great. It's good to know this. But you think about, like, years ago, I mean, all the practitioners, they didn't know what we know about the brain now. But they still practiced, and they worked, and they had a nice meditation. It was nice to be able, they could transform themselves. But I think it's nice to know that there's an actual, nice with scientific, us in the modern age, scientifically, to know that this is maybe what happens in our brain. So but that's still the process. And like I said, still have to go through it. We still got to deal with all these things. So I'm thinking along the way, and I'm sure all of you have done this, and I think of how we are in how we live our lives, and we live our lives through a lot of thinking and ideals and belief systems and opinions. And we're thinking, our whole life we're built up and we think this is what our life is and this is who we are. And, at one point I think in my life, what's the word I want? I thought so highly of belief systems, and I thought, wow, that's something to really admire, a strong belief system, strong opinions and everything. But in reality, I think, we have to live in the world. We have to work with what we have. But in reality, I think this is actually probably the exact opposite of what we want in ourselves. It's probably not a good idea to have really strong beliefs about things and really strong opinions and everything, because if we do, it seems like there's really no way to really see things clearly. We can't really see ourselves clearly. I don't think we can't view our emotions and things that come up really clear. And I think in going beyond that, we can't even see that in other people. So I was thinking of, like, in my life, how the times I've always had techniques to deal with things that have come up. There's techniques we have, and we call them tools, and at times they're more, I think in some of mine were pretty primitive tools dealing with my emotions and everything. And along the way, they've, it's nice I've developed other tools to deal with when other things came up. But the problem is it's still just it's a technique, and it only can take us so far. And it seems as like if we progress maybe in our practice, that we can start dropping some of these techniques and some of these tools that have held so dearly on us, but it got us through the time, and it was really good maybe at that time. But maybe we don't need those so much anymore. It's kind of like when the Buddha crossed the river, and he took the boat, he crossed the river, he left it on the other side, and he says, once you cross the river, you don't take that boat with you and you don't carry it with you. So there's a point, I think, in our life that maybe as we progress, we can actually look at ourselves and our unconsciousness with maybe not so much of this background that we have. And I mean, I know this for years. I mean, I've had such strong beliefs and such strong opinions about things and everything, and of course, like everyone else. And I think how ridiculous I was to think that, how strongly I hold on to those. And I mean, Jesus, you can go on the social media and you can see that, oh my God, I mean, everyone thinks their opinions are, this is it. This is what the world is. This is, but it got us to that point, and I think that's really good. So I want to say something else that one of the monks said in one of the other Dharma talks. Bhante Rahula said, when our emotions come up and thoughts, anything that comes up, feelings, thoughts, is the word he used, and I love this word so much when he said it, was acknowledge them. And he didn't say accept or whatever. And I mean, accept, I like the word accept, but I mean, acknowledge seems so non-judgmental. So it seems like when you acknowledge something, because let's face it, a lot of things that come up from our unconscious aren't exactly the most pleasant. We don't always have the most pleasant thoughts and the most pleasant feelings. So acknowledge seems to be so good. I love that word. Like, gosh, acknowledge, okay, I think I can acknowledge this and, move on from there. So that's basically a lot of what I wanted to talk about. And there's one other part of this that another thing that I've heard so many times in the past, and I don't remember how many of the monks have said this, but we live in this world, but we're not of this world. And that was kind of like what I was thinking about before, like the world I've created, the world we've all created of our thoughts and our ideals and our beliefs and opinions. And it seems that that's what we think life is, and that's what we think who we really are. And this isn't really who we are. I mean, it's weird when you think about it. I mean, now that doesn't sound bad to me. I mean, now that sounds pretty normal to me. But I mean, years ago, that would have said, what the heck are you talking about? That doesn't mean, that's not who we are. So I think that's where I'd like to bring this to a close. And kind of, that was probably about the last thing I wanted to say. Obviously, I probably had a lot of other things come up. They always do. Whenever I talk, I think, oh man, I forgot to say that. I really wanted to say that, but I didn't. So, I mean, I appreciate your time. Thank you, Bhante, for asking me. And
It's more of a comment there. Thanks for bringing up the fact that, we have, I was the same way. It's like, okay, I have these preconceived ideas of how things are supposed to be.
yeah.
And through this practice of 21 years, now I'm at the point where you are, where it's like, how do I say this? Well, it's like I'm not so fixated on this is the way things are supposed to be. It's more of an open.
Yeah, and
And that can be it's kind of uncomfortable because it's like
I agree. I
This
know.
is the way things are going to be, and this is the way it's like follow this path, go off the path. But really,
I know. It's always words are always hard sometimes.
It's strange that like through 20 years of this practice, I'm not so. It's just like open to everything, I guess.
That's pretty unusual. I think of sometimes you forget the slow transformations and stuff. They happen so slowly. You forget, wow, I really used to think that way, or I used to really, feel that way or believe that so strongly. And now it's like, oh, not so much.
Sometimes I use the analogy. You climb the mountain. When you think you get to the top of the mountain, you're going to have all the answers. And then you realize there's a better view from the mountain. There's
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. Thank you.
Along the same lines, our language has articles that a lot of ancient languages did. We are used to thinking of the truth as opposed to a truth. And there's a big difference.
Yeah.
I think we
I
want
agree.
the truth because we want stability.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to change, and then we have to become comfortable. We have to become comfortable with using indefinite articles,
Yeah.
basically.
I agree. I was very uncomfortable. Change has been very uncomfortable, but so rewarding. But it's here. Gosh, it's a lot of work. And whenever you say that a lot of work, it's not like a negative thing. It's just the reality of it is this is really a lot of work, and you're willing to put in the time and the effort, and it really does have quote unquote rewards, I guess, if you want to say. It's very humbling. Yes. Yeah. So thanks. I appreciate it. That was really not so painful.
Okay, thank you so much, Bill, for
Thank you,
your
Bhante.
wonderful Dharma talk. I hope you learned something from his talk, and I really appreciate your participation. Thank you so much for coming. And so, a few announcements actually. So, most of you know we are having our biggest celebration next month, Saturday, May 13th. We call Buddha Day celebration. All over the world, every May, full moon day, it is May 5th. People are celebrating Buddha's life, Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and his we call passing away. It's a huge celebration. So we are celebrating here every May 2nd Saturday. It's 13th, 4 to 7. So please, if you have time, please come. We are going to have wonderful inside events like some traditional dancings and other beautiful events. And also we are going to have a parade outside. So you can bring your family, your kids, and it's going to be a nice event. So the second one is, most of you know we are having a booth at the Woodstock Farmers Market. So we are going to start sell some Sri Lankan food every Saturdays. We are having some preparations, food preparations tomorrow and Friday. If you like to come and help us for the preparations, you can talk to Tessa and you can come and help us. And also every month, not every month, every week, Friday, we are doing a clean up, big clean up the temple. So if you are free Fridays 10 to 12, please come and you can help us to clean the temple, and so we can make this place always nice and neat. So I'm inviting you for all to come on Friday to help us. What did I miss? So that's it actually. So tomorrow we have meditation. Bhante Sujat, if you do not know him, our head monk, he's here and he's doing tomorrow 7 to 8 Dhamma talk. And 5:30 we have refugee recovery meeting. So there are many events happening, and please come and help us. Okay. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful day.